So I'm doing my street interview for the topic of underage drinking. I'm gonna go around asking a bunch of different random people what they think about the topic itself. So the first person I'm gonna ask is actually sitting right over here.
Should I sit on the couch next to you? Or?
No, just
All right here?
All right, so I got some questions for you.
Okay.
You answer them literally as strictly as possible.
All right.
You ready?
Got it.
Do you think the current legal drinking age of 21 in the United States is appropriate when they have the rights at 18, like voting, marriage, military service, but not legal alcohol consumption?
Yeah, I think it's really good law because some people just can't handle it. People can't hang, and they just end up doing stupid shit, get caught, and having to take interviews.
And then, do you think underage drinking affects mental health, and do you think preventing it could prevent addiction later in life?
I think it could.
Think so?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, do you think a drinking permit that would allow young adults under 21 who are kind of well behaved, like got good grades, good people, no charges for anything, to drink in public places such as bars and restaurants would be a good idea?
Could work.
Could work.
Yeah.
And then, if the drinking age were lowered, how do you think it would change the culture around drinking in the United States?
I think it'd be a lot more chill. Like in Europe, they don't really care,
Yeah.
and it's chill. No one really does anything. too
Okay,
crazy.
next person. We're gonna see who else we can find. Hey, let's stop you real quick. I got a quick question. Hop in this interview real quick.
All right.
It's about legal drinking in the United States. Do you think the current legal drinking age of 21 is appropriate in the United States when they have rights at 18, like voting, marriage, military service, but not legal alcohol consumption?
I think it used to be 18 for a reason. My dad was personally he was able to drink under the age of 21 when the legal drinking age was 18. He was actually 19 when they switched it, but he was still able to keep drinking. If he was allowed to, I think that we should be allowed to.
Gotcha. And then, do you think underage drinking affects mental health, and do you think preventing it could prevent addiction later on in life?
I think that preventing underage drinking could definitely improve their chances of not having alcoholism later in life, but that's still kind of chill.
Well, that's when it comes in, like the side of view of it being like forbidden. It's a lot more fun to do something forbidden than it is.
You're right. In that case, we could just go back to prohibition and make our own moonshine.
Do you think a drinking permit that would allow adults under 21 who are well behaved, like got good grades, don't get arrested, to drink in public places such as bars and restaurants would be a good idea? Okay. Underage drinking permit.
I think that if they're with adults or if they're with their parents or family, then it should definitely be allowed.
Absolutely. And then if the drinking age were lowered, how do you think it would change the culture in the United States?
I think the culture would. Can you repeat the question?
If the drinking age were lowered, how do you think it'd affect the culture in the United States?
I think some people would be angry at first because they don't want their kids drinking legally, but then I think it would get pretty chill.
Absolutely. Probably lower the stigma around underage drinking.
Yeah, I've never done it.
All right, next one. So I just have 4 quick questions about underage drinking and some laws behind them. Just want to know your opinions on it. So, do you think the current legal drinking age of 21 in the U.S. is appropriate when they have rights at 18, like voting, marriage, and military service?
I don't.
You don't? What do you think?
I don't think it's appropriate.
Absolutely.
No, I just don't.
And then, do you think underage drinking affects mental health, and do you think preventing it could prevent addiction later in life?
It will. I do.
Do you think a drinking permit that would allow adults under 21 who are well behaved, meaning good grades and everything like that, to drink in public places such as bars and restaurants would be a good idea? I feel like it'd take away this, stigma maybe behind it. And then, if the drinking age were lowered, how do you think it would change the culture in the United States?
It shouldn't be low. No, if it does, it'll change everything.
Absolutely.
Everybody will be running around drunk, hitting people, just tearing up the place.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's.
Well, thank you so much for your
shouldn't be
time.
low. You're welcome.
All right, so I got 4 quick questions for you about the drinking law in the United States. Do you think that the legal drinking age of 21 in the U.S. is appropriate? People have rights at 18, such as voting, marriage, military service, but not the right to drink. It should be lower. So, and then, do you think that drinking affects mental health, and do you think preventing it could prevent addiction later on in life?
It could. Absolutely.
And then do you think a drinking permit that would allow young adults under 21 who are well behaved, good grades, no charges or anything like that, to be able to drink in a public place such as bars and restaurants would be a good idea?
It could be if it's done appropriately.
Absolutely. And then if the drinking age were lowered, how do you think it would change the culture around drinking in the United States?
How would it change the culture?
Yeah.
I think first it probably create some social problems.
Yeah.
It may increase mental health problems. But if it's done appropriately and responsibly, then it could be done in a fashion that would be acceptable.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So after going out in the real world and interviewing people different race, gender, and in different social groups, I got a lot of different types of answers, but most of them relate and agree with having a lower drinking age or happy in between, such as a drinking learner's permit. All the people I interviewed on and off camera, like at a general, dinner table or something like that, all agree that doing something like a drinking learner's permit would be a great in between or a happy medium for everybody. Good quality, kids not having to risk their lives going to a gas station using a fake ID to buy, alcohol and possibly get arrested, or, that gets put on their record for forever. But I want to keep on doing stuff with this project, and I feel like raising awareness and getting more people to get involved would be something great to do. I want to keep on asking general questions to more people, and I might do something later on in the future with this project.